Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to clean the gun really quickly. I've unloaded this gun, but we have to check it, right? First step when you're cleaning a gun is you just want to make sure that you don't have any ammunition anywhere on the table. These are snap caps right here. Once you verify that you don't have any ammunition out, you're going to clear your gun. And I'm going to take it out of the holster, okay? I'm going to take the magazine out. I'm going to check the chamber. I'm going to lock the slide back. Now I can see that the gun's clear. And I verified with the flashlight that it is so. Do you want to verify to me that that gun is clear? Can you see into the chamber?
Yes, sir.
Always good to have a flashlight because can you see it now?
Yeah, regularly.
But that flashlight definitely helps, doesn't it? Okay, now we've had a secondary verification that the gun's clear. So on Glocks, you have to pull the trigger on the gun to make sure that it's clear before you take it apart. So we have checked it. What you do is you take your thumb and your index finger on the Glocks and you pull that takedown lever down and you keep pressure down on that. And then you come over here and you pull that slide back just a little bit. Oh, I reset my trigger. I have to do it again. Pull the trigger. Pull down the takedown lever. Pull that back just a little bit and then that lets that slide come forward. Now I have to take my recoil rod and spring out. Recoil rod and spring. Take the barrel out. This is the muzzle into the barrel. And there's your slide. Okay, these are my snap caps. I'm just going to put these away. You want to get a paper towel. And this is as far down as you have to take the gun to clean it. Now when you buy a gun, you will need to buy a gun kit. And they're like, 20 bucks, something like that. Typically what you'll get in a gun kit, you'll get oil and solvent and patches and a cleaning brush and a cleaning rod. Something like this. 20 bucks. Another way to do it is, what I like to use is this product right here. It's called Ballistol. It's a lubricant, but it also cleans. So I only have one thing that I use instead of having a bottle for each one. And if you buy a Glock, they're going to give you a cleaning rod that looks like this, and they're going to give you a nylon cleaning brush. And it's going to come with a brush too. You want to probably wear eye protection when you clean a gun because sometimes you can get solvent flicked in your eyes. Another part of your gun cleaning kit is going to be some Q-tips. Go to the dollar store. Get Q-tips. Get into those hard to reach areas quite nicely. But probably the part of the gun that gets the dirtiest is the barrel. So I like to spray some stuff in there until it comes out the end. And then I'll spray that barrel and I'll just let it sit. While that's working its way into the barrel, loosening up all that carbon deposit and stuff in there, you're going to put some solvent on a patch. You could use a brush beforehand to, get all the excess off. You want to get into this little this little extractor. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's like a little hook looking thing. And that's what extracts that casing out after you fired it. And that gets dirty in there sometimes. But, the brush, I don't use it a whole lot except for that extractor. Once you do that with your patch, now you just start wiping down the gun. You get all that black carbon deposits on there. And just for those of you that are curious, this has only had 50 rounds put through it, and this is how dirty it is after shooting it a box of 50. We just shot this last week, and I had cleaned it before we shot it. But anyway, these patches are pretty cheap, and so you can just keep using patches, and you can flip it around. So patches, they don't cost a lot of money, so just keep doing that. And you're going to do the same thing on your frame of your gun. All that crud. Flip it around. And you might want to open your windows in your house because this gets a little stinky and makes you cough. Well, look at all that. Anyway, so when you're cleaning the gun, you just want to keep doing this. If you wanted to get it perfect, you would just keep doing this until you did like the white patch test and they're coming out white. But this is getting pretty clean. I'm probably not going to go through it completely, but these Q-tips that get into these hard to reach areas and these Glocks. See that crud? And a cleaned and oiled and well-maintained gun is going to last you longer, and it's going to function more reliably. And so you want to take good care of your guns. Now, I have range guns that I use that I shoot thousands of rounds a year through. Okay, I don't clean those all the time. I don't depend on my life for it, right? So, but if it's my carry gun, I clean it after every time that I shoot it. And if you go out there and you shoot 50 rounds, you don't see, it's not really that dirty. So let's just assume that that's all clean, perfect. When the patches come out white, you've done a really good job. And then you're going to put your cleaning brush on. Don't like how this is done, you can, have your own little style you can use. But this works for me. And that was why I said wear eye protection, because when you're pulling this brush out, it could spray up solvent in your eyes. And that's why you want to have that protection on. Once you've done that and you've scrubbed your barrel out, then you're going to wipe down the outside of the barrel. And this feeding ramp here gets pretty dirty. See that crud? And you just wipe. It's kind of a tedious thing. Doesn't take too long. Anyway, so let's just pretend like it's all clean as it should be. This is a range gun, so this is fine. Okay. You're going to read your owner's manual. It's going to tell you what points on the gun to oil. Now I know Glock says put one right here on the front, and you can tell where there's metal to metal contact where this black's been worn off. So I just like to rub a little oil on that barrel. And Glock says put a drop right there. And Glock says put one on the lug. And they say put one of these on the slide. So that's way too much oil. You just want like a drop. And it's hard to put a drop because it's an aerosol. But if you get excess, just wipe it off. These guns don't need to run wet in order to work. Colt 1911 they'd like wet, but Glocks, you just need to be lubricated. Put one each on the front. Put one down here. And then I like to put one there on the barrel. One other, turn it around. And then Glock says put one drop on each rail. I'm trying just to put a drop on there. One over this trigger. Once I've got all my oil on it, I put my barrel back into here. I put my recoil rod and spring on. Make sure this is straight. You wouldn't want it cockeyed like that. Like that. And then you're going to line up your rails onto your gun rails on the frame. And you never want to force this. Just let it slowly go back. If it gives you trouble, just kind of finesse it. See, this one's giving me a little bit of trouble. If it gives you trouble, that's a good sign that maybe there's something wrong with this. So you want to come back on here. That just doesn't look right. Maybe that's why it's giving me trouble. But anyway, you don't want to force that. And you run that slide several times. That moves that oil up and down the rails. Once it's all put back together, you're just going to take a little patch and you're going to wipe down the excess oil. Also puts a nice coat of oil on the slide. You don't need to do the rest because this is plastic, right? The last step in cleaning the gun is to do the function check. You're going to pull the trigger and you're going to reset the slide to make sure that your trigger assembly works correct. So what you do is you pull the trigger and you keep your finger down on it. And then you reset the slide. Pulling that slide, resets the trigger. And so then you slowly let that trigger out until you hear it click. That means it's reset. Once you hear that click, pull the trigger again. I'll do it again. Once the trigger is pulled, pull the slide back. That resets the trigger and let it out. That's called the trigger reset. Now my gun is clean. All right.